And this is just kind of going back over a lot of things we covered this chapter. This review is going to be a good clue for you for what you need to study for your test as well for the semester exam. So make sure you hold on to this notes for your semester exam because this test is going to be about the semester exam is going to be a little bit more than a 6 weeks test. So basically I'll cover the last 2 tests we've had plus a little bit more. So the binomial expression that we used, remember that was where we did 70 plus 5 cubed, or you could have done 80 minus 5 cubed. Either one would work. I'm going to go ahead and use the 70 plus 5 because I think that's what most of y'all used. And then the second parenthesis was square the first, double the product, square the last. And then 75 squared or cubed is 421,875. And if you ever set these two in your calculator, they should be equal. So you should be able to type both of them in and it comes with the same expression. So it's a good double check to make sure you have it all. So how we can determine whether something is a Pythagorean triple, that means it works for a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if that works, if we plug it in, these being your smaller numbers, and this is your largest. Which of these two do you want me to work? Three? So we have 40 squared plus 198 squared. We want to know, does that equal 202 squared? And so, it's okay. I'm trying to find my calculator real quick because I've got too many tabs open. It's not the one I wanted. There it is. So 40 squared is 4 squared, which is 16, and double your zeros. $198 squared is 39,204, and then 202 squared is 40,804. Okay. So I want to know, do these two things add up to be 40,804? So we have the 4, 0 plus 0 is 0, 6 plus 2 is 8, 39 plus 1 is 40. So they check out. So yes, these would make a right triangle, or they're a Pythagorean triple, whichever way you want to think about it as. They mean the same thing. So if we're trying to generate a triple using Euclid's formula, remember his formula was r squared plus s squared is going to equal your hypotenuse. r squared minus s squared is equal to one leg, and 2rs is equal to the other leg. And r is greater than s. So which of these two would you like me to work? Number 5? Okay, so to get our hypotenuse, we're going to do 7 squared plus 13 squared. And that's going to be 49 plus 169. So that's going to be at 8. Carry the 1 gives us 11. Carry the 1, that's 218 is my longest side, aka my hypotenuse. And then if I do 13 squared minus 7 squared, because again we need to put it in order. I didn't write it here, but these need to be in order from greatest to least on that. And that's going to equal one of my legs. So 169 minus 49 is 120. So that's one of my legs. And my third side is 2rs. So that means 2 times 13 times 7. So 14 times 13, which equals 182. Those are my 3. These both are my legs. And that's my hypotenuse. You don't have to be able to tell me what they are, but I'm just referring to them by what they are. Everybody ready to go into the next one? Again, we're going to be working with Euclid's formula. But we're going to try to decide what is the R and S that would create it. So first off, do you want me to do 6 or 7? 7? Okay. So we're going to take our 2 shortest sides and add them together squared to see if it's going to equal my largest side. Because that lets me know if it's a right triangle. So 64 squared is 496. Oh, excuse me, 4,096. 12 or 120 squared is going to be 12 squared plus 2 zeros, so 144, double my zeros. And then 136 squared is 18,496. So if I was to come over here and add these two together, I'd have the 96. The 4 doesn't have anything to add to, so the 4 plus 4 is 8. And then the 1. So those do add together, so this is a right triangle. Make sure you understand how to do these easy questions like this because they're the easy points I'm putting on there for the test. Now the next thing is we're going to use it to help us find r squared plus s, or find r and s. So we know r squared plus s squared is going to be my longest side. So what's that going to equal? 136. R squared minus s squared, well, it has two different numbers it could be. It could be 120 or it could be 64. We don't know which one. And so to test it, we'll take and add them together. That's 256 equals 2r squared. Divide it by 2. And so I have can I take the square root of 128 and come on with an integer? Take the square root of 128 in your calculator. When I take the square root of that, I come up with 11.31, and it keeps going. So this isn't the one I want to use. That means I need to reverse it. And use a 64 this time. And that means the 120 is the extra. So if we add those together, we get 2r squared is equal to 136 plus 64, which is 200, divided by 2. R squared is equal to 100. So now I can take the square root of that and get 10. So I don't really need this other side because it didn't work. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase it. Now that we know it, we can find 2RS. That's going to be equal to that 120. I know my R is 10. Therefore, what will my S have to be? So that's 20 times S is equal to 120. So divide both sides by 20. S is equal to 6. So 10 and 6 are my two numbers. So how would we find the next row in a Pascal's triangle? Which one do you want me to work, 8 or 9? What? Which of the two do you want me to work? 8? They work the same idea. You're going to add an extra 1 on the ends. And then these two will add to give you the next number. These two add to give you the next number. That would be your answer. And then if you're doing it in the computer, don't forget to put them with a comma between them. On the test, that would be as far as you needed to go. On the test, I'm going to give you a row like this, and you're going to tell me the next row. I'm going to give you a hint. It's probably not going to be one that you'll include on your note card. So when we're looking at expanding, do you want me to work number 10 or 11? 10? The power is 7 on this one. So that means on your Pascal's triangle, we're going to go down to where we see a 7 as a second number. That's the row we're going to work. 1, 7, 21, 35. So 1, 7. What's the next number? 21. $35, $35, 21, 7, and a 1. So you take your X and you start off with that highest power. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and none. Then you're going to take your Y's and you're going to start off with none of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as your power. Oh. Now, how do I determine what my signs are between each of these? They're all positive because the middle sign is positive. Since this is positive, they're all positive. If that middle sign happened to be a negative, then it would be negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So if it happened to be a minus sign in between, that'd be your signs. On the computer, it will not take it if you put a 1 in front of your X at the end and at the beginning and a 1 in front. Your Y at the end.
Wait, what if
All positive on the first is what the answer is, but if it happened to have a minus sign in between it, it would have the second sign. So first sign is positive, second sign is negative. It would rotate. How would we do these? Put them in the calculator. And so when we're looking at number 12, we just type that straight in our calculator. Are these going to be relatively small numbers or bigger numbers whenever we have it just to the factorials? They're going to be relatively bigger numbers. Five factorial times 8 factorial is 4,008,038 and 400. And then when we're dividing, they're not going to be as big in numbers. They are still not small. So 680 is a number for there. Just remember that you can type that in your calculator. 7 factorial, find that button for factorial. And by the way, how many calculators do I have? 10. Do I have enough for every student to have a calculator? That's the reason we checked out calculators at the beginning of the year to each of you. If you need to leave your calculator with me overnight so you can charge, make sure you do that before you leave school today. Either that or charge it on the charging cable that you were checked out. So to calculate the combinations, we go to menu. I believe it's 5, 3 is that probability and combination. And so when you do that, it's going to open up NCR and have a parenthesis. To do this one right here, it'd be 13, 4. To do this one, it would be 10, 4. And so you should have had 210 and 715. So when we're expanding this means we're going to Pascal's triangle. We're going to look at that row 4. So that'd be 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And then raised to the power. For this one, be looking at row 6. It'd be 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, 1. Which of those two do you want me to work? This is the power. So you go to the one that has a, not row 6, it's row 7, but the row that has a 6 is the second number. So I'm looking for when this is a 6. So which of those two do you want me to work? This one? And if I have time, I'll hit both of them. And I think we all have time. And so on row 4, the coefficients were 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Okay. Now I'm going to take my first item and I start at the highest power and then I count down. So my first term was 3x, so 3x to the fourth, 3x cubed, 3x squared, 3x, and then I don't have any more x's. Start with on my second term. I start without any. And then 2y to the first, 2y to the second, 2y cubed, 2y to the fourth. So that is a plus sign in between, so that means all of them are addition. You could have also put it all as addition and just make sure you take the sign with you as you go to the next one if you want. And so what's 3 to the fourth power? That's the same as 9 times 9, right? Four times 3 times 2. 6 times, oops, I messed up on that one, sorry. 4 times 27 x cubed times 2y. Sorry, I got ahead of myself on the steps. 6 times 9x squared times 4y squared. 12x times 8y cubed. And 16y to the fourth. What is 4 times 27 times 2?
216.
What is 6 times 9 times 4?
216.
What is 12 times 8?
90.
And then we have 16y to the fourth. Any questions there? Let's go ahead and work 18 because we have enough time. So if I was to expand this, I would go down to the row that has the second number as 6. So that would be 1, 6, what? So 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, 1. So that means I'm going to take 2x and raise it to the 6th, 2x, raise it to the 5th, 2x, raise it to the 4th, 2x, raise it cubed, 2x, raise it to the squared, 2x, and then I don't have any. And then my y's, or my second thing is a -3. So -3 to the 0, which means I don't have to write it. -3 to the first, -3 squared, -3 cubed, -3 to the 4th, -3 to the 5th, and -3 to the 6th. Because I chose to put that negative sign in with the parenthesis, I'm just going to add all the way across. What is 2 to the 6th power? $64. 6 times 2 to the 5th power, but
192.
not 192.
6 times 2.
No, 2 to the 5th power.
30.
And -3 to the first power is -3. 15, 2 to the 4th,
16.
-3 squared,
70.
-3 times -3.
Negative. No, just
20 times 2 cubed.
8. 160.
-3 times -3 times -3 is going to be -27. 15 times 2y second, so that's going to be 4y squared, -3 to the 4th. It's going to be a positive 81. Because my x looked like a y. Plus 6 times 2x. What's -3 to the 5th power?
243. Negative 243.
-3 to the 6th.
71.
Now we're going to go ahead and multiply things out. 6x to the 6th. 6 times 32 times negative 3. Six times 32 times negative 3. Be negative 576 x to the 5th. Plus a negative is 15 times 16 times 9. $20 times 8 times negative 27. So plus a negative again means I have a negative. 15 times 4 squared times 81. So 15 times 4 is 60. 60 times 81 is 480. It's me. 860 x squared. 6 times 2 times 243. And negative 243. So plus a negative 2916 is the same thing as minus 2916. So that's your answer. It's supposed to be a 729. There were no y's on this one because there was no y's on that negative 3. There's only going to be one question like this on the test. You'd have a note card, and the rest of the questions like this are going to be in this level. Oh, it's me. This level.
Is it front and back?
Yes.
It is? Oh, that's good. I could not.
That's too many numbers for my head.
Yeah, that is.
But again, show me as much work as possible so if you make mistakes, you don't get the whole thing wrong. Won't. So you don't get the whole thing wrong. Okay, you ready to go to the next one? Okay, 19. Whenever I give it to you in this format, it already gives you a lot of the things that you need. The power is going to go here. The last power goes here. So that means the total power goes here. So 8 and a 5.
Where'd you get?
8 and 5. And so we take our first thing, which is x, and we raise it to the third from that first expression. Now you're going to take your second item, negative 5, y, and you're going to raise it to the second power of your first expression. So what is 8 combination 5?
Is that the menu 5, 3, whatever?
Yes.
Does that say last power?
Yes.
56.
Wait, so
And this would be x cubed. What's negative 5 to the 5th?
Say that again.
What is negative 5 to the 5th power?
Negative 3,125.
3,125?
Yeah.
Multiply these two together. And we end up with a negative what?
You multiply.
Mm-hmm. What if I wrote my y to the 5th? 175,000 x cubed y to the 5th. So my answer for the coefficient is 175,000 with a negative sign in front of it. So this time, what's my top number going to be on my combination? What's my bottom number? And you're going to take a positive 4x and we're going to raise it to the 5th power. Negative y, raise it to the 2nd power. And then we're going to go through and do our menu. And you should come up with 21. What's 4x to the 5th power? 1,000 and what?
24.
And then negative y to squared is going to be y squared.
It's 24.
Oh, 24, not 25.
How do you? Sorry. Oh, it's on the. I'm on a completely different.
And then we're going to multiply those two together. And what do you come up with? Any other questions?
How do you get the exclamation point?
There's a button with a lot of different ending symbols.
Oh shoot! Is it called?